Hello, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us. We decided to step away from the studio this week. We're in New Orleans for the annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention.
And we're at the Cabildo, the historic museum which preserves the site where the Louisiana Purchase began its transfer to the United States.
And it's a fitting location as this year saw a significant change in leadership. We'll have those details in a moment, but first, this was Louisiana Farm Bureau's 102nd convention. For more than 100 years, farmers and ranchers from every corner of the state have come together to set the direction of the Louisiana Farm Bureau and the policy that's adopted here at this meeting of the voting delegates on Sunday morning.
But before the business, the entire Farm Bureau family partied down, learned from industry experts in commodity and issues meetings, and showcased the talent and beauties from across the state. This year's convention also marked the end of Jim Harper's tenure as Louisiana Farm Bureau president.
Just like on the farm, we'll always have challenges. With our volunteer leaders in place and our excellent staff and staying focused on our mission, the Louisiana Farm Bureau will continue to succeed for the next 100 years. Thank you again for allowing me to serve this great organization. It's been an honor.
Harper will continue to serve on the board for another year as an ex officio member, and we know he will continue to be an advocate for agriculture and a friend to Farm Bureau. Stepping into the top role is a familiar face at Louisiana Farm Bureau.
I look forward to building a team, making it stronger, and making Farm Bureau family stronger for the future. Thank y'all.
Richard Fontenot previously served as third vice president. Fontenot, an Evangeline Parish crawfish, rice, and soybean farmer, says he grew up in the Farm Bureau family. His dad was once a Farm Bureau parish president. He and his wife have a 17-year-old son, Lance, who is carrying on the family tradition and is on the 4-H shooting sports team that just won the national competition. Fontenot says he wants to work to push Congress to pass a farm bill as well as labor reform. But he says what he's most excited about this year's convention was seeing so many younger people involved in agriculture.
I saw a lot of youth. I saw some third generation folks. I had two folks that were in the Young Farmers and Rancher program with me 20 some odd years ago, and they haven't been here for 10 to 12 years. They were here this year. Something drew everyone in. We've had more attendance in rooms and more participation.
Richard Fontenot's vacated third vice president seat will be filled by Tangipahoa Parish cattlewoman Amelia Kent. We'll have a full breakdown of all board elections coming up later in the show.
Congress has yet to pass a farm bill and the clock is ticking as federal elections are approaching. This as federal regulations are making it harder for farmers and ranchers to pay the bills. That's why American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duval and Louisiana 5th District Congresswoman Julia Leto had lunch with about 200 of their closest farmer friends.
Before decisions are made here, Louisiana 5th District Congresswoman Julia Leto comes here.
I'm a lifelong learner.
It's at the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention's public policy lunch where Leto speaks with outgoing Louisiana Farm Bureau President Jim Harper and American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duval about the possibility of getting a new farm bill passed during a presidential election year.
I'm always an optimist at heart, and I have full faith in our chairman, G.T. Thompson. He's worked diligently to make sure that we have a strong farm bill moving forward. Now it's up to my colleagues to bring it to the floor, and hopefully we can do that, have a good vote, move it over to the Senate, and get it through the finish line. Our farmers, producers, they deserve it. So we're fighting hard to make sure that happens.
Duval shares Letlo's optimism.
I think that if we can get the people's attention that we got to get this done this year, that we got a chance to maybe do it in lame duck. I think the calendar makes it difficult before lame duck, but hopefully they'll be more motivated before the year's out to get it done in lame duck session.
Included in the House version of the Farm Bill is a provision that would help landowners clear burned timber after a wildfire, something Leto says came about after speaking with foresters in her district.
I'm glad that that made it in the Farm Bill. I'm also fighting for even more of our legislation to be included. It's all about receiving those payments in a timely fashion. As you know, with the federal government, it often takes way too long for those disaster recovery payments to hit, and our farmers need it. And so, because a farm could go under if they don't receive those payments in a timely fashion. So I'm listening to my farmers day in and day out. We're trying to tackle that through legislation. I'm hopeful some of that will be passed through the Farm Bill.
We've really made some things happen during this administration. This has been a difficult administration for us. And we don't know what the next one will look like, whether this one continues or there'll be a new one. But the success that we've had has really come down to the engagement of our membership.
President Duval says the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Chevron deference will affect how regulatory agencies like the EPA and Department of Labor can make and enforce rules. According to the majority opinion, courts must exercise independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority.
It's no secret that labor was a big topic of conversation in New Orleans this weekend. Farmers packed the room to hear from experts in law and policy during the labor conference at convention. John Walt Boatwright is a director of governmental affairs for American Farm Bureau, working on issues from pesticide use to food safety and labor. He says American Farm Bureau and the farmers it represents have been working the issue of labor and immigration with the goal of protecting the farm worker programs that are vital to farms across the country, especially in Louisiana.
Well, we've long advocated for long-term fundamental reforms in the immigration space that would include, providing certainty for our domestic farm workers, but also providing certainty in the future flow of workers through the H-2A and H-2B programs. This Congress has been extraordinarily challenging to deal with those issues.
Boatwright says the work continues and good news may be on the horizon on an issue many in Louisiana have been watching closely: the adverse effect wage rate rule.
New Orleans is the 52nd largest city in the United States. Being an urban hub, there's not a whole lot in the world of agriculture around here.
But if you hoof it on over to City Park, TWILA's Josh Meeks found the one place where city meets country.
In this building on the west side of City Park, you'll find the one place where policing and horseplay meet. JJ, Dude, Lola, and Dakota are just a few of NOPD's 27 horses in the Mounted Division. Just like the officers, these animals have to show they can tough it out on the streets of New Orleans.
We'll ride them around there, just get them exposed to traffic, lawn mowers, tractor trailers, garbage trucks, stuff like that. And then once they progress to that, we feel they're ready to go to Bourbon Street, we'll take them out to the French Quarter.
William Cox has been with the Mounted Division for 14 years. He helps get them ready for work and then hands the reins over to the officers when it's time to go on patrol.
It's very rewarding to see somebody who's green, who's had zero experience, to put them on a horse, and it's a 3-week class, it's a pass-fail, it's a very intense training, and to watch them go from there to able to ride and control a horse and go out on Bourbon Street is pretty cool.
Even though New Orleans has the 3rd largest mounted division in the country, the city doesn't pay for these animals. They depend entirely on donations.
The city and the police department is responsible for the feeding, the vet bills, the farrier bills, and that's about it. Everything else, all these horses you see, are donated and purchased by us through fundraising.
These horses need enrichment every day, whether it's getting exercise, training, or even getting their teeth cleaned. There's one horse who doesn't go on patrol. This is Patch, the department's new one-eyed mascot. What he's missing in stature, he makes up for in personality. He's a bit of a diva. When it comes time to shoe up and head out, Cox says it's always the horse's decision.
We just don't want to throw them out to the thick of things and ruin them, basically. We want to slowly do it so it doesn't, they don't get overstimulated. So the more they go out there, the more, basically, if you will, training they get. It's just they're exposed to it, they almost get just numb to it all.
So in addition to all the hard work that they do out on the streets, we found out these horses are also excellent judges of character. So we opened it up to a vote, asking them whether or not they thought I was funny, and well, the nays have it. Reporting from City Park for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
Because the city does not pay for the department's horses, the NOPD depends on donations through the nonprofit called Cops 8. You can find a link to donate right now on our website, twilatv.org.
Still to come on TWILA, a new queen is crowned, plus a big moment for a pair of Vermilion Parish farmers. Plus, getting kids involved in agriculture can be as simple as a potato chip taste test.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
You can tell that we're at the Cabildo because it's right on Jackson Square, the music coming in from outside, but we're also surrounded by all this beautiful artwork by Hunt Slonim, who studied art at Tulane University. It's up on the 3rd floor of the Cabildo. You should check it out. Definitely. I know you're enjoying it,
It's
Kristen.
beautiful.
The voting delegates of the Louisiana Farm Bureau elected Richard Fontenot of Evangeline Parish as the 13th president of the organization.
Fontenot has served as 3rd vice president of the board of directors and farms rice and soybeans. Fontenot said he was humbled by the honor and tremendous responsibility.
To have the support we had and for them to elect me today to do and stand for and represent what I love and what I cherish and 4 generations into what we do is the absence of words, because I'm humbled and almost at a loss of words.
Re-elected was Marty Woolridge of Caddo Parish as first vice president. The Louisiana Farm Bureau voting delegates selected 2 new vice presidents.
Birch Pierce was elected to serve as second vice president, replacing Scott Wiggers of Franklin Parish. Pierce farms in Catahoula Parish.
Amelia Levin Kent was elected to serve as third vice president, replacing Richard Fontenot of Evangeline Parish. Kent and her husband raised cattle in East Feliciana and Tangipahoa parishes.
Also re-elected was Mike Molossaw of St. Martin Parish to serve as secretary-treasurer. Michelle Semino returns as Women's Leadership Committee chair, and Nicholas Giras of St. Landry Parish will serve as chair of the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee, both of which are board positions.
Louisiana Farm Bureau board members from even districts were elected to 2-year terms.
Butch Oaks of Ouachita Parish will continue to represent District 2. Bill Cheek of Rapides Parish will represent District 4. Ted Glazer of Point Coupee Parish will represent District 6. Benson Longmonay of Iberia Parish will represent District 8. And Matt Gravois of St. James Parish will continue to represent District 10.
Before everyone sat down for elections, there were some big awards handed out this year.
Crowns were passed, plaques were etched, and talent was rewarded, all honoring the best of Farm Bureau. The highest honor given by the Farm Bureau is the President's Award, recognizing the collaborative effort of an entire parish in agricultural activities. Vermilion Parish received the President's Award for an unprecedented 5th time in a row. Brian Seemaw is the parish president and gave credit to the strength of his team.
When I became involved as a 40-something-year-old and I saw the opportunities there, I made that my focus whenever I became president, to allow the young ones to have the opportunities. And it's just been amazing. I mean, you open the door and they come and they're always planning new events, planning different things to do, and they're all in.
The Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award recognizes the state's top young farm couple under 35 years old. This year, Aaron and Jamie Lee, also of Vermilion Parish, won this top prize. The sugarcane and crawfish producers have competed previously, but clinched the top spot based on their enormous perseverance. The Lees said they hope this will be a legacy they can pass on to their young son.
It makes me think about what it's going to look like in the future, you know, with him growing up on the same farm that I work with my father and grandfather. It's just, like she says, it's a surreal experience, you know.
This is something that we've watched people win for over 10 years now and never really thought about us being the ones up there. So to actually be standing up there in front of everybody and kind of be recognized for all the work that we do, it feels pretty incredible.
The couple receives a $35,000 cash award courtesy of the Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company. They also receive an all-expense-paid trip to the 2025 American Farm Bureau Convention in San Antonio, Texas, as well as other cash prizes.
Other young farmers and ranchers were recognized during the awards program on Thursday night of the convention.
Clint and Raquel Emanuel of Evangeline Parish won the 2024 Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award. The award recognizes leadership and involvement in agriculture. The Emanuels received several prizes, including a $7,500 credit toward the purchase of an ATV from Louisiana Land Bank.
Amanda Duyon of Lafayette Parish was named the Outstanding Young Farm Woman for 2024. Amanda received a $2,000 cash award, compliments of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, along with other cash prizes.
Hannah Duvall of St. Martin Parish won this year's discussion meet. Duvall received a host of prizes for her victory, including a John Deere Gator utility vehicle, courtesy of the Southern Farm Bureau Life Company, a trip to compete at the 2025 American Farm Bureau Convention in San Antonio, Texas, as well as other cash prizes.
Andrew Dozat of Avoyelles Parish took home the top prize in the Talk Meat competition. In his speech, Dozat discussed how Farm Bureau can help sustain American agriculture.
A host of young talent was on full display this week during the 102nd Annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention. A pair of dancers leapt over the competition to win both the junior and senior categories. Eleanor Molossaw of St. Martin Parish performed her way to the top prize in the Junior Talent Division with her dance to Wings. Johanna Martin of Lafayette Parish showed a tour de force of modern open dance to the song Invisible Light and also captured first place in the senior division.
And the culmination of the Farm Bureau Convention is the crowning of a new Louisiana Farm Bureau Queen.
Your 2024 Louisiana Federation Queen is contestant number 2, Miss Emma Stelly.
Emma Nicole Stelly of Vermilion Parish will serve as the 2024 Louisiana Farm Bureau Queen. She'll travel the state and to Washington, D.C., representing the state's largest general farm organization. First runner-up was Chaselyn Audrey Pelche of Iberia Parish. Second runner-up was Cecily Oliver of Calcasieu Parish. And all of the contestants voted Lillian Lily Gale Westbrooks of Caldwell Parish as Miss Congeniality.
Congratulations to all of this year's winners at convention. You can find links to videos, including live streams of these events, on our website at twilatv.org. Louisiana's Ag in the Classroom program is an important part of what happens at Farm Bureau. It gives teachers the tools they need to show kids where their food comes from.
All while hopefully getting them interested in the world of agriculture. At this year's Louisiana Farm Bureau convention, we turned snack time into class time.
During the Ag in the Classroom workshop at the Louisiana Farm Bureau convention today, we presented on the food scientist. And so we had several activities that our participants did in the areas of food science. So they figured out what was the difference between beet sugar and cane sugar. And then they used their sense of smell to determine what the flavor of Lifesaver they had, because without your sense of smell, it doesn't matter what you taste, there will be no flavor. So taste plus smell equals flavor. Then we tasted different types of Pepsi. Regular Pepsi, which is flavored by corn syrup, and then sugar sweetened Pepsi. And so they got to see if they could tell the difference between the corn syrup Pepsi and the sugar Pepsi. And then our last activity was with 4 different types of barbecue potato chips, a name brand and then 4 off brands. And they used their discernible tasting skills to see if they could tell the difference between those 4 different brands of product. And so all that was examples of what a food scientist would do in their daily day of work. And then we had we got to meet a food science, which is one of our Farm Bureau family members. They watched a video interview with her. So we learned about what a food scientist does, and then we also did some food science activities.
It wasn't all education and elections. When you get a bunch of Louisiana farmers and ranchers in one spot, you'll see how quickly they can get down.
Oh yeah, they hit the dance floor on the convention's Friday night to the jams of the band Nickel Beer. There was absolutely no parking on the dance floor for this get-together. If you had to park, there were tables all around, those sold to raise money for Louisiana Farm Bureau Foundation and important scholarships. It was a great time, and I always have a good time jamming with folks there in Nickel Beer.
Yeah, on the guitar.
Yeah, on the bass. You know, I slap at a bass. I slap at a bass. It's okay. Still to come on TWILA. New Orleans is a place where it's well known that you don't have to go far to find an adult beverage.
TWILA's Neil Malasaw found one place that will help you make your own. So we're here at the Cabildo at Hunt Sloanham's art exhibit, which you know that I love art. And this is such an exciting thing for me because he is one of my favorite artists. And
Really?
It's so awesome to see it firsthand up close, to see exactly how he does it.
Gonna get some inspiration
Yeah,
here?
to make a mental note. Well, moving on, New Orleans is a city known for its parties and has a long history to back that up. Some people have even taken to brewing their own beverages just like they used to before mass distribution.
This week, TWILA's Neil Malasaw shows us how one company helps keep those home brewers with supplies that heavily depend on agriculture.
New Orleans is a city known for its drinks and good times, but those beverages have to come from somewhere. Here at Brewstock Homebrew Supplies in the heart of the city, owner Oliver Codner says it's about finding more than just the basic necessities.
So we provide ingredients and equipment for the local homebrew community in and around Louisiana. We sell them ingredients and equipment. We're kind of like a weird cross-section between like homebrew shop, grocery store, hardware store.
Paul Kelly is one of those people. He owns a distillery making vodka from Louisiana sweet potatoes and needed some help with some equipment. Codner says advice like that is part of what helps keep customers coming back.
People come in to just like talk out loud and say like, you know, I'm doing this. What do you think about this? Or like people come in and say, hey, I've got this recipe. Do you have something else? Or hey, you know, I brewed this and it was amazing. Can we do it again? You know, we offer a lot of things here.
Brewstock sells all of the necessary parts and supplies you might expect, such as bottles and other containers. Codner says fundamental to his business, though, is the variety of ag products.
So beer is rooted in barley, wheat, rye, oats, anything, you know, all those types of crops, corn, rice. Most of those things are malted or torrefied in some way so that they can convert. We sell a lot of hops. We sell about 90 different types of grains and malts in store, and we sell probably over 100 different types of hops.
Codner says there are a lot of breweries in Louisiana now, but many started small.
Home brewing is easier than it ever has been. It's the same way that you learn to drive a car. You sit behind the wheel and you start driving. You dive in head first. You just have to start doing it. You will fail. That is part of the game, and that is a great learning experience.
Even if it's just brewing something in your own living room, there's a lot of room to grow in home brewing in Louisiana, and places like this are the ones that support it. All it takes is time, patience, and of course, fresh ag products. Reporting from New Orleans, I'm Neil Melanson.
We've really been getting down while shooting this. It's kind of cool. Time now for this week's TWILA Boost, and as you might have guessed, it's all about the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention.
Photographer Stuart Polton spent a lot of time behind the scenes, and here's a look at all the action through his lens.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other and with the world our challenges and hopes, our dreams and our plans, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. A very special thank you to the Cabildo staff, Louisiana State Museums, and the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism for welcoming us this week.
We'll see you next week on TWILA. Until then, you can watch all of these stories and more on our website, twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can find all these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. That way you know when we put something new out.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again right here next week.